Do you know why the police brought you in?
This is unbelievable. I mean, they think I did this, right? It's always the husband that did it, right?
Did you say anything to the police at your house or here before I got here?
Only what happened. That I came home and I found her lying in the blood.
It's okay. Is Mr. Bayer a suspect?
I just want to ask him a few more questions.
Fine. My office tomorrow, 2 o'clock.
Now would be better.
Is he under arrest?
Well, you see, Counselor, we just got this back from the lab. It's a murder weapon, 100% certain. It's got a full rack of fléchettes, enough propellant to saw the top of your skull off, and that safety's off. So, if I pointed at you and pulled the trigger, nothing happens.
It's got a DNA lock.
Can't be fired by anyone except the license owner. Here's the DNA right here. Huh? Is that your gun, Mr. Bayer?
Don't answer.
Hey, that's okay. It's a rhetorical question. Serial number. He registered it. Now you gonna stay behind and answer some more questions?
No.
Then yes. He's under arrest for murder.
You work in the DA's office for a couple of years, then you go into private practice, and this is what happens. Criminals hire you.
Yeah, well, Lucas, that's why we hired you.
You're gonna practice criminal law without dealing with criminals?
You're accused criminals, right? I mean, am I the only one here who took that course in law school about the Constitution?
Mr. Bayer's wife was murdered in their house. There was no sign of a break-in. Nothing was stolen. He inherits her family money.
Does he have an alibi?
He was taking a drive while his wife was killed with his smart gun, which doesn't fire unless it sees his DNA.
Look, people, this is very obvious, okay? He has an evil twin. I saw this movie when I was 11, and this guy had a dungeon, like in his basement, and he kept this, like, deformed dude down there.
Does he have a twin?
First thing I asked him, no siblings.
Yeah, how does he know?
Lucas, I'm gonna ask Marty to work with you on this.
Why?
House rules, 2 lawyers per client. When the client's facing a death penalty, district attorney just filed the notice.
It's a negotiating tactic.
Yeah, it's a damn good one.
The district attorney has offered a deal. Plead guilty and you get a life sentence.
But I didn't do it.
Go to trial and you risk the death penalty.
It's your choice. It could save your life.
But I didn't do it. You believe me, don't you?
We're not the jury, we're your lawyers.
Is this how they do things? Tell innocent people they'll kill them unless they lie? Look, I don't know if anyone cares, but I loved my wife. We were gonna have a 100th anniversary party, get some of those anti-aging drugs, be the oldest married couple in the 22nd century. Priscilla said we'd invite Martians. Are the cops even looking for who did this?
Well, they seem to think they found him.
The DA put a clock on the plea, 8 a.m.
It would dishonor her.
What would?
Pleading guilty. Telling her friends, her family, that the man Priscilla loved killed her. That she had no judgment, no foresight about someone that important in her life. I can't do it. I won't do it.
Well, that's a new one. He's pleading innocent for her. Little self-serving, don't you think? Since she's dead. Plus, it's weird.
Or honorable.
Come on.
Let me tell you something. As defense attorneys, our job is to get the client acquitted.
I'm well aware of that.
And that's not what I'm telling you. Juries listen to what you're saying, but they also look at you. So you've got to act like you think he's innocent, whether you believe it or not. The act is a lot more convincing if you do believe it.
So to be a good lawyer, you start by making a fool of yourself.
Who says I'm making a fool of myself? The guy liked his wife's sense of humor, that joke about the Martians.
Wasn't funny.
Well, he thought so. You don't kill someone if they have a compatible sense of humor.
You think a jury's gonna giggle? How about these crime scene reports? DNA reader at the front door lets the killer in. Thermal imager attached to the air conditioner registered a body bear's size. Carpet sensors report someone his weight and his size feet.
All right, how about this? The home music system recognizes residents by their voices and plays what they like to hear. Now, the living room was playing Euro-Muslim pop. Bayer likes 20th century jazz.
I'm sure there's an explanation.
Oh, so I'm supposed to go with the gun, the carpet, the doorknob, the air conditioner, but the music, that's got to be wrong.
It's 4-1.
No, 4-2. I don't think he did it.
Okay, Boxy. Who are you really?
VX509.
No, come on. Not you. Her.
Not me?
I understand that you're incredibly brilliant and really nice and really helpful, all because you're programmed to be that way. You're a computer, and I'm fine with that. I do not think any less of you because of it. Really, I promise. But the face, the body, that face and that body belong to a human model, right? Who is she?
That information is not in my database.
So, come on, look it up. I mean, you tracked down a shirt maker from Yokohama last week. How hard could this be?
I am prevented from searching for that information.
I saw her last week in a bar in La Brea. I must speak with this woman.
I like your new shirt.
I'll buy you a bigger logic stack.
I thought it was irreversible. Me too. I thought I'd never be able to have kids. Not me, not you, not anyone who came out of the genetic prototype project.
But we can.
It's not clear. I did some research, and one of the scientists mentioned something about a biochemical key. I tried to get more information, but they turned me away. So I called you. Hey, May. I'm getting married.
That's great.
I want to have a normal life. I want to have children. How do I explain to my husband why we can't just do it the old-fashioned way?
You haven't told him?
I will if I have to.
Hannah Crane. Analysis completed. Compounding recovery beverage now. The hydrogen phosphate, 100 milligrams. Bioprotein,
Hannah?
10 milligrams.
Hey. Oh, no, I hate it when it's yellow.
I need some advice.
Sure.
You know that I was part of the genetic prototype project.
And they made us some... Oh, how can this be what my body needs? Sorry.
They made us immune to anthrax, and while they were at it, they made us strong and smart and quick and sterile.
Maybe they figured that you wouldn't mind because they made you strong and smart and quick.
Another woman from the project came to me. There may be a way to reverse the sterility, but no one will tell her what it is.
So she wants to sue the government.
She wants me to sue with her. As counsel and co-plaintiff. A sister in arms, generate more pressure, publicity.
Publicity.
I can do this. And if we maybe win, then maybe we find out that maybe we can have children. But I will have gone public about being genetically modified.
And get treated like a freak?
Yeah.
Okay, the firm will take the case. Tom will be lead attorney.
What?
You're too close to this, May. We can take care of the situation without making you a battle flag.
But my friend came to me.
And you came to me for advice. And you just got it, girl.
Mr. Bayer, do you understand the charges against you?
I do. With all due respect, Your Honor, the prosecution lacks sufficient evidence to bring this case.
Mrs. Bayer's body was found at the home shared by Mr. and Mrs. Bayer.
Found by Mr. Bayer, who immediately called the police.
She was killed by his smart gun,
Which was left lying at her side, no attempt at concealment.
Is this a trial? I thought this was an arraignment. Mr. Bayer, how do you plead?
Not guilty.
Thank you. Bail?
Martin Constable, Your Honor, also appearing for Mr. Bayer.
Great. Bail?
Your Honor, the people feel bail would be inappropriate.
The defendant owns a well-established advertising agency. He has no criminal record. He's lived in Los Angeles for 20 years.
The people have filed notice to seek the death penalty.
Mr. Bayer can be restricted to the jurisdiction by electronic home confinement or by wearing a punitive bracelet.
Save your breath. It's a capital case. It's remand. What's next?
P.K. Jackson, Your Honor, was due to be arraigned this morning, but we're unable to find him.
Was he at liberty?
$500,000 bond.
Can I have a minute? Please. You're aware you were born via in vitro fertilization?
Yeah.
Your mother had trouble conceiving. Now our investigator checked with her doctor. He sent your parents to a fertility clinic where they created a healthy embryo. Just to be on the safe side, they split it 4 ways, implanted one, and froze the other 3.
Time's up. Let's go.
A minute. You were born. You were healthy. Your parents never wanted another child. They never went back.
You're saying there are 3 other me's out there?
I don't know. The clinic was shut, the records were lost, and the Brentwood quake.
But they'd just be little clusters of frozen cells.
Some infertile couples adopted abandoned embryos, sometimes for religious reasons, and they didn't want to see them destroyed.
And if one of them was implanted and born, he'd have the same DNA as you.
You could fire my gun.
Why would some hypothetical twin Bayer never even knew existed want to kill Bayer's wife? What's his motive?
Don't know. Why don't you try to find out?
Gee, Lucas, when you were in the DA's office, I don't remember you chasing every wild goose tossed out by a desperate defense attorney.
I miss you too, Stephanie.
Besides, I found someone else. You know that drive your client was taking around the time his wife was killed?
Yeah?
Well, apparently he was driving around the bedroom of a young woman in Santa Monica. The police are searching her apartment now. If we find any long-lost relatives hiding under the bed, we'll let you know.
You should have told us about her.
It's not relevant.
That you have a girlfriend? The district attorney thinks it's relevant. A jury's gonna think it's relevant. You know how they found her? The dry cleaner puts those little radio tags in your clothes to keep your order together. The police paged your bathrobe.
It sounds like a serious relationship, Miss Flynn. The police found a closet full of Mr. Bayer's clothes in your apartment.
Technically, his apartment. He paid the rent.
You gave a statement to the police?
Yeah, I told him the truth. I told him Alan's been my lover for 5 years, and he was at the apartment that night.
The night his wife was shot? All night?
No. He just stopped by for a while, right before he went home and found her.
So, you weren't taking a drive.
When the police asked me where I'd been, I didn't know they would arrest me.
They've got you telling a lie on the record. Consciousness of guilt. Plus, it strengthens the motive. You have your wife's money and you're free.
Free for what?
To marry Miss Flynn, to be with her in public, whatever you want.
We already do what we want. I don't want to marry her.
It's not part of our arrangement, and we're both fine with that. I'm fine with that.
Your arrangement?
Our contract.
You're a concubine?
Contract consort. A traditional arrangement just put on paper. Much more honest than the old days.
I loved my wife. I simply had needs I met elsewhere. Like half the people in the world.
So this contract spelled out a payment schedule, gifts and bonuses, nights and hours.
And exclusivity, of course.
You saw him twice weekly.
And 2 weekends a year.
And the money was deposited directly into your account.
Mm-hmm.
So the exclusivity, I gather, was only on your part.
Well, Alan was married.
there was that.
Moxie, I need you to get my mother a birthday present, okay? I think she really liked this sweater I got her last year.
She returned it on May 11th and used the credit to buy a llama throw. It was vermilion. I have recorded that as her color preference.
Fantastic. Get her another one of those, okay? Now listen, I need you to help me find a witness to a traffic accident, okay? My client was rear-ended on La Brea near Pico. I want you to do a face match with all the surveillance cameras in the neighborhood. Young girl, about 25 years old, tawny complexion, long blonde hair, straight.
You have no such case.
Boxy, I think I know what cases I have, okay? Full lips, high cheekbones.
You are trying to deceive me into helping you find my model.
Okay, that's ridiculous, okay? Her eyes are, I don't know, mahogany, okay, built like a brick. Her house, height would be...
I am not authorized to search for that person.
Okay, look, Boxy, I'm sick of this, all right? Then how about getting me the name of your company, okay? I want to talk to customer service right away. No, better yet, get me the president.
Of the United States?
I don't understand. Why aren't you doing this?
You do understand. Tom's an excellent lawyer. He used to be in Congress, and he knows how to deal with the government.
Christina Dobbs, the genetic prototype project's attorney. Randall Pergament. This is my colleague, Miss Bristol.
Gracias.
Well, as you know, Miss Dobbs is seeking information about the technology employed by the GPP.
It's classified.
Well, sure, it's classified a quarter century ago when we were worried about bioterrorism.
The government is still concerned.
The last attack was 2009.
The last attack that you know about.
Oh, what, are you saying that there have been bio-attacks that have been concealed from the public?
I'm saying that this whole area is classified. It's not going to do anyone any good to pursue it.
Is that a threat?
I've noticed that GPP babies prefer to stay out of the limelight. Now, whoever takes this case is going to be stepping right into it, isn't she?
We're talking about a fundamental human right here. The right to have children.
We're talking about the security of the United States. It's up to you.
You still think our client's main concern is defending his wife's honor?
I don't know. It doesn't sound like a wildly passionate arrangement.
Except for the 5 years of sex.
You ever think of trying it yourself? Yeah, that contract consort thing.
Well, I don't think my wife would go for it.
My cousin Elizabeth had one.
Contract consort?
She had to give him up. The pension contributions were killing her.
But otherwise...
System has a lot to recommend it.
It's not natural.
They've been doing it in France for hundreds of years without the contracts.
The contracts are what's not natural.
People are talking about signing contracts with their pets.
We're lawyers. We love it.
I've been thinking about those missing embryos you're interested in. We could check the DNA criminal database. Run Bayer's DNA through it, see if it pops up with another name.
You can't get into that database without a court order.
I was a DA. I know how to get in. If some sibling exists, and he is the killer, he might already have a criminal record.
You're not making a fool of yourself here, are you?
I'm just humoring a senior partner.
I know who she is, Boxy. I took her picture. Well, your picture down at the bar where I saw her, and the bartender recognized her. Casey, good old-fashioned human legwork.
Darwin, it is unwise to look for this model. Customers are prone to develop unrealistic expectations.
All I expect is that she look exactly like you, but have something a little better going on downstairs in a circuit breaker. You know what I'm talking about?
You are trying to shock me.
Boxy, you should be flattered, okay? This is a compliment.
If you like me, it is because I am programmed to make you like me. This human will have no such programming.
I'm shallow. I'll settle for the external package.
But the package is not me. The image is not me.
Boxy, if I didn't know you better, I'd say you were jealous.
Me?
Stop doing that.
Detective Taylor, is this the gun you found at the crime scene?
Yes. 4mm caseless flechette automatic with a DNA-based security system.
And whose DNA was it linked to?
Mr. Bayer's, its owner. No one else can fire it.
Did you see Mr. Bayer that evening?
Yes. When we got to the house, he was waiting outside.
What did he tell you?
Said he'd just gotten home and he found it this way.
Got home from where?
Said he'd been on a drive in the Santa Monica Mountains.
Did that turn out to be true?
No. That turned out to be a lie.
Where had he been?
He was visiting a young woman named Sarah Flynn.
For what purpose?
Drinks, dinner, sex.
I see. Your witness.
Miss Flynn was Mr. Bayer's contract consort, was she not?
Look, you can call her whatever you want.
No, it's not me. It's the state of California.
The state doesn't issue licenses.
Yes, but it recognizes the contracts.
All I know is that Mr. Bayer found it important enough to lie about it.
You get lied to a lot, don't you?
Enough.
In your experience, is everyone who lies to the police guilty of a crime?
Lying to police is a crime if it obstructs an investigation.
Yes, but people have all kinds of secrets to keep that aren't crimes, don't they? Like visiting a woman who's not their wife for dinner, drinks, and sex. I mean, that's a pretty popular one, isn't it?
In this case, it was relevant to a murder investigation.
We don't know that yet. That's what we're here to decide. Just one more thing. When you said that gun could only have been fired by Mr. Bayer, you were wrong, weren't you?
Only if he had an identical twin. Does he have an identical twin?
I'll ask the questions. Thanks.
Hello. Darwin McNeil.
Are you the guy who called?
Yeah, I got your name from Dave at the Ozone Bar.
Yeah.
I hope you don't mind. May I join you?
Yeah. Look, what are we doing? Are we doing drinks? I have an audition in half an hour.
Right, you're a model.
Well, Dave said you saw one of my jobs.
I did indeed. The VX509. I was very impressed.
The what?
VX509? It's a virtual assistant.
Yeah, they must have bought me from one of the stock houses. Was I naked?
No. Fully clothed and kind of a skin-tight, hot pink vinyl number.
So, it wasn't one of those deals where,
Oh, no, it's nothing like that. No, you answer my phones. Well, not you, but virtual you. You handle my schedule. You make appointments for me, dinner reservations, you do legal research, occasionally buy a birthday present for my mom.
You're a lawyer?
Yeah, I have an office right over...
Listen. A friend of mine was in Shanghai last weekend, and he saw my body in this virtual sex arcade, and he's sure it was me because of all the body piercings and the barcode matched, and I'm damn sure I never sold any rights to China. I mean, I don't even like China. I mean, China, we're talking about China. I mean, I must have a case against someone. What do you think?
The government can't refuse Ms. Dobbs' request for information just by claiming that national security is involved. They've got to make a plausible showing.
No, it's plausible on its face. Now, we've obviously never intended to show potential terrorists how we're working to protect ourselves.
Oh, is that right? Well, then why did you go public?
Excuse me?
Your Honor, congressional record. Hearing on the Genetic Prototype Project, House Science Committee, June 4, 2022, page 92.
One of your scientists testified about genetic manipulation and anthrax protection at an open hearing.
I'm sure he didn't include every detail.
No, I was there. You spoke for 3 hours. We were all scrambling to find genetic enhancements just to stay awake.
Why does it matter? Ms. Dobbs is trying to have a baby, not launch germ warfare. This is entirely off the point. Why are we even talking about anthrax? This is about having a baby.
It certainly is incumbent on the government to show a connection.
Mr. Pergamet?
I'm not a scientist, but I do know that genes are linked in very intricate ways.
Well, then why don't we bring some scientists in and they can tell us about it. We'll have a hearing. Your motion to dismiss is
Your Honor, before you rule, can we meet here again later today?
Why? You gonna bring us a surprise?
Yes.
Alan left my apartment at 9 p.m.
What time did he arrive, Miss Flynn?
About 8.
Did he seem upset? Nervous, agitated when he got there?
He seemed a little tense. He'd been having some problems at the office, and I figured that was it.
Either that or he just shot his wife.
Objection.
Sustained.
Miss Flynn, what did your boyfriend do when he got to your apartment?
We don't use that word to describe our relationship.
You're not saying you're a prostitute, are you?
No, I'm not.
Money does change hands.
Money always changes hands between men and women. We just decided to clarify things.
With this consort contract?
Yes.
He paid your rent, gave you an allowance, was to give you 1 hour's notice of any requested sex.
And I could say no. Always.
So you were two consenting adults who wanted to have sex with each other.
That's right.
Did the defendant ever express a wish to be free of his wife so he could spend more time with you?
That's not what we were in this for.
Did he ever say anything like that, Miss Flynn? You are under oath.
Men say things like that. They tend not to mean them unless they're in the contract.
What exactly did the defendant say?
That if it weren't for the money, he'd leave her. For me. But I didn't take that seriously. There was no reason to take it seriously.
You know what? Maybe there was.
Look, maybe we don't have to go back in there.
You don't understand, compadre. We want to go back in.
Oh, do you? Miss Dobbs, your attorney was right before. We weren't fighting you on this because of national security.
Well, then why?
Does the name Judith Richland mean anything to you?
She was in the project. She's a designer back east, I think.
No longer. Her health prevents her from working. As you can see,
Judith is my age.
yes, she is. 27 years old. Like I said before, genes are linked in intricate ways. There have been some unexpected side effects.
But not everyone from the project.
No, no. A lot of them are fine so far. The flaws, though, when they do occur, are established through the germline. Be passed on to descendants. Worst case, we've created a genetic defect that could wipe out the entire human race.
Is that a little dramatic?
Yeah, probably. But we do know that we've created some defects that are wiping out some individuals. Now, she's not the only one with this particular problem. Now, we cannot allow you to have children because we can't have this spreading. And we cannot go into court to fight about this because if it gets out to the public, people will panic. And they'll certainly run every time they see you coming for the rest of your life.
Mr. and Mrs. Jaspers, this is one of our partners, Martin Constable.
How do you do? How do you do? Please sit.
They were just telling me they adopted another couple's abandoned embryo at a fertility clinic in Brentwood.
No kidding.
6 years after our client was born. Unfortunately, their son's had some problems. He was arrested for assault last year. That DNA record search I ran brought his name up.
I still don't understand what this is about.
Do you know where Ronald is?
Actually, we were hoping you would.
Is he in trouble again?
We don't know. Tell me, do you recognize him?
Oh, well, that looks like Ronald, but Ronald's not that old.
Who is that?
A man named Alan Bayer. Did Ronald ever mention him?
Do you have any idea where Ronald might be?
He was living with us until a month ago, and he just left. He doesn't have much money, and we've been worried.
Did anything unusual precede his departure? Visitors, phone calls?
A woman came by for him. We'd never seen her before.
This woman?
It's Alan Bayer's wife.
No, she had red hair.
She was younger, pretty.
Long, flowing red hair.
That's right.
Yeah, well, that's her.
Well, who is she? Do you know what she wanted with Ronald?
I think we do.
I don't believe it. How would she even know he existed?
Did you ever tell her you were born in vitro?
I may have.
We used a private investigator. She used a private investigator.
So she hired my twin to murder my wife?
Well, apparently she wasn't as thrilled to be a contract consort as she let on. We need you to take the stand.
Why?
We have to give the jury the full picture of her organizing this crime.
But I don't know anything.
Yes, you do. You know why she did it?
Sarah was doing some artwork for my agency, but her work wasn't really commercial. She wanted a job, and I couldn't justify it.
Not that kind of job.
We began an affair. I wanted to stop it as soon as it started. Almost as soon. I loved my wife. I didn't want to jeopardize what we had.
So you entered a contractual relationship with Sarah?
She actually suggested it. It put limits on things. I'd known some people who'd done it. It seemed to work for them.
Did you tell your wife?
No. But I think she knew. We had a good life. Priscilla was happy, I was happy.
Was Sarah happy?
She seemed to be.
Did you ever do anything to make her happier?
You mean lie to her?
Did you?
We had a contract, but Sarah had feelings.
What did you tell her?
That I might leave my wife someday, somehow. It was all very vague, but she seemed to like hearing that kind of thing.
Was that part of the formal arrangement?
No. Our arrangement was clear.
But you promised things beyond the scope of the contract.
Sarah is a person. That was what was beyond the scope of the contract. I was trying to be nice.
And were you? Nice?
No. No, I led her on. I see that now.
Objection. Your Honor, this trial is not about whether Mr. Bayer hurt someone's feelings.
Sustained.
No more questions, Your Honor. Thank you. You okay?
I talked to Christina and she wants to drop the case. She can't bear the thought of passing something on to her children. Or wiping out the human race. She and her fiancé are going to adopt. She talked to him.
So she's okay?
As well as can be expected.
How about you?
I really wanted to win this for her. But I understand. She really wanted to have children. And now she's disappointed, and she's scared, and she's frustrated, and she's angry.
She is. Hey, man. I know.
What?
That you were part of that genetic prototype project, that this is about you too.
Hannah told you? Oh.
Look, it doesn't make any difference to us.
Well, then how am I?
It's okay. Miss Flynn, you testified that Mr. Bayer said he would leave his wife for you.
I said that I didn't take it seriously.
Because it wasn't serious, right?
That's right, it wasn't.
So he lied to you.
That's a strong way to put it.
Well, a man who shared your bed said he would leave his wife for you and he didn't? I think lying is actually a mild way to put it. Weren't you mad?
Oh, I knew what to expect.
And what was that exactly? A lifetime as a contract consort?
I didn't really think that far ahead.
When you were a little girl, is that what you dreamed of? That someday a handsome man on a white horse would ride up and pay you for sex?
The arrangement worked for both of us. It is very common.
But is it what you wanted? Or did you prefer revenge?
Objection. His minute's up.
To have the wife dead and the lying husband blamed for it.
Sustained.
Wouldn't that be sweet?
Mr. Gold.
Tell us, Miss Flynn. Who's Ronald Jaspers? There's no objection to this question. You can answer it. He's the defendant's identical twin. Born 6 years after the defendant, to a couple who adopted an abandoned frozen embryo.
Objection. Says who?
Ronald Jasper's parents, who are prepared to testify that their son disappeared last month, shortly after being visited by a woman who looked like this witness. They can identify you, Miss Flynn.
I was curious.
You tracked him down.
I wanted to see a younger Alan, an unmarried Alan that would want
to date him, or to induce him to kill your lover's wife.
No!
To frame your lover and to have your revenge.
No!
Sarah, sit down, Mr. Bayer.
You did this.
Alan. Go to hell. Hmm?
Members of the jury, have you reached a verdict?
We have, Your Honor.
The defendant will rise.
On the sole count of the indictment, murder in the first degree, we find the defendant, Alan Bayer, not guilty.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Counselor.
This is him. Picked him up a couple hours ago.
Did you kill my wife?
He's not talking.
They thought that maybe he would talk to you.
I'll leave you two alone for a while. Probably got a lot to catch up on.
You've got Wiggins coming in tomorrow on the Zabner suit. I've sent a memo to your PDA. There's a hard copy waiting for you at home. Your mother's gift was delivered, and she loved it. I'll play her thank you call if you want. And don't forget to finish the tofu in your refrigerator. You need some B vitamins to raise your coenzyme levels.
Thank you, Foxy.
Is there anything else I can do for you tonight?
Good night, Foxy.
She's very comforting.
You have no idea. I met the human being she's modeled on today.
Wow.
It's a model slash virtual porn star with a barcode on her ass who wants free legal advice.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I'm in love with a computer.
I can't have children.
I know.
You do?
It's a small office. Word gets around.
Ready?
He knows too.
Small office.
Nothing like a family reunion to give you that nice warm feeling, huh?
The police are nailing things down. They found some money transferred from Sarah to the brother.
Now, you went out on a limb tapping into that DNA database. You're not supposed to do that.
Well, we're just going for a drink.
Ah, great. Good. Who's buying?
Well, I just want you to know, May, that any of us would be more than happy to breed with you anytime, any place.
Actually, not me.
Oh, really? Well, then you're buying.
It's about time.